Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar as we prepare to kick off the 2027 program year. Before we get started, though, we would like to welcome Bernadette Wiltzlang, SUSTA's Executive Director, to kick off our kickoff webinar.
Thank you, Danielle. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 2027 program season. As global opportunities evolve, identifying the right market is really important now more than ever. SUSTA is here to help you navigate the global market and support your growth with the resources, connections, and investments needed to expand internationally. Your success is at the center of our mission. Every program, every initiative, and investment is designed to support your goals. So thank you for your commitment and preparation as we begin this new season together. We look forward to helping you make 2027 a success.
Great. Thank you, Bernadette. All right, so we are getting started. As you know, or if you're new, maybe you don't know, but every fall we launch the next program year. So we just want to walk you through those steps as well as a few new things that we will be introducing this year, updates, reminders. So yes, this is just a good time for us to all kind of regroup and go through our priorities and strategies for next year. Everybody is muted. If you have a question, we will get to those at the end. I think it might be easier to move through everything, together, and then either raise your hand or put your question in the chat or the Q&A, and we'll get to it after the presentation. So let's get started. All right, so our 2027 timeline. Every August 1st, when you go to log in to your SUSTA account, you will get a pop-up asking you to recertify your account for the following year. We do this every year. Even companies who've been using our programs for a decade or longer have to recertify their account every year. Why? It just, sometimes companies might move or they get bought by Nestle or some really big company, and then maybe they're not eligible anymore. So we just, as good stewards of this USDA funding, we like to make sure that our companies every year still meet the eligibility requirements. And this gives you an opportunity to update your account. If you've moved or you've added new staff or, anything that you would like to add or update, this is the time to do it. So please recertify your account starting this Saturday. And why is it important to do it early? On or as soon as August 1st as you can, because come August 15th, our 2027 global events will start opening for registration at 8 a.m. So August 15th at 8 a.m., we'll have a lot of events going live on the website. A lot of them are actually up right now. If you go to the events page after the webinar, you'll see a bunch of 2027 events. You can just preview them for now. You can't register, but come August 15th at 8 o'clock, if you've recertified your account, been reviewed and approved, then assuming you're approved, you can register for events. As you know, it is a manual review process, though. So if you recertify on August 14th, we can't make any promises that you would get reviewed. So as early as you can do it, better. And that way, if we need more information or whatever, we can get to that. So we are excited about our 2027 events. Usually our next year cost share application would also open in August. Every year, that's how it works. However, if you're in cost share, you will be pleased to know we are making some big upgrades to the cost share application, and we're in the middle of doing that. We've been working on it all year. So we will launch the 2027 cost share application later in the fall. I don't want to give an exact date yet because we'll launch it as soon as we can, and we'll provide you updates as we get closer to that. So anyway, yay for that, but we will not be launching the 2027 cost share application just yet. And then our programs officially run January to December. So it's, while we open the registration and the recertification process now, the program year will start January 1st. All right. So just a little bit about recertifying your account. When you log in, you will see this pop up starting on Saturday, before you can apply for events and do cost share, you need to confirm the details on your account. Go ahead and click confirm details, and it'll just pull up your account and go through, make the updates. You will need to select which programs and services that you're interested in, whether it's education, global events, and or cost share. So make sure you do that. And if, for instance, you don't check global events, then it doesn't send the email to the global events team to review you. So if you want to do any of these programs, make sure that you indicate that and let us know what you're interested in. If you're recertifying and you get this screen saying that a primary account holder needs to be the one recertifying, that means that you're not the primary account holder. So just know that you need to talk to people in your office and see who is. Multiple people can have that role. So this isn't just, one person designated as the primary account holder, but anyway, sometimes we get questions about that. So I just wanted to let you know, if you see something like this, it just means that you don't have that designation. If we need to change your account to have it, that's fine too. We'll just need the primary person to let us know. So that is it about recertifying. And now we'll get into our global events. We have a lot of exciting updates for 2027. But we get a lot of questions about trade shows versus trade missions. So before we get into the events, thought we would just kind of review this. All right, international trade shows. This is where you go and you have a booth with your marketing materials, your products, your sampling, and people are walking by. So you're casting a wide net. These are big events. They're all over the world. And it is really like you're going to come home with a ton of leads that you're going to have to sift through and reach out to people. And they're great. I mean, you meet tons of people. And for SUSTA, when you do one of our international trade shows, the price will vary depending on the event. But we always include assistance with shipping. We will handle up to 100 pounds of your shipping of samples. We'll provide interpreters as needed. And, we're always assisting in advance, making sure that you meet deadlines, as well as either someone from SUSTA or one of our activity managers will be there on site. So these are great events. We, really welcome you to these, and we will have a lot of international trade shows in 2027. We also have SUSTA pavilions at domestic trade shows. So, but this is something new this year. So for the last, I don't know how many years, for a long while, we have only had a SUSTA pavilion at the Summer Fancy Food in New York. That was the only US trade show with a SUSTA pavilion. But in 2027, we are adding to that list. You will see we now have a SUSTA pavilion at Seafood Expo North America in Boston, which will be in March, and at the America's Food and Beverage Show in Miami it's usually in the fall. I'm not sure the dates yet for 2027, but probably September, October. So in 2027, that is something new. Again, the prices for these also vary by show. We also bring inbound trade missions into these domestic shows. So we bring foreign buyers to meet with companies. If you want to exhibit with us at any of these 3 domestic shows, you will need to register for at least one of the inbound missions going to that show. And for just the domestic shows, you can exhibit in the SUSTA Pavilion one time. So anyway, that is some exciting news for 2027 that we will be offering those options. These are, and the reason we can do that for these US shows is that they attract such a broad international audience. So we are pleased to change that and update that. All right, getting into trade missions now. So if trade shows are casting the wide net, trade missions are really targeted. This is where we're bringing foreign buyers to the US, or you're traveling internationally, and our consultants, depending on the foreign market, will be arranging meetings between you and buyers, distributors, importers in that country, and doing, their best to match you with buyers, importers, distributors that are in your industry. So we're not going to have a seafood importer meeting with someone who's making wine. It's really prearranged, and our consultants in the foreign market really do their best to get to know you and your products and your company, and then set you up with meetings that make the most sense for you. So that is how the trade missions are really different than a trade show. It's not like you're going to meet people walking by. It's really targeted meetings. We have inbound missions. When you see that, that means that we're bringing the foreign buyers into the US. So you don't have to travel internationally to meet with foreign buyers at the inbound missions. Our inbound missions are always $35. Well, except there is one in the summer that is a little more than that. But for the most part, they're usually $35. And they will either be at like a hotel meeting room, or we'll bring them to a domestic show where a lot of our US suppliers are there. So it's usually on show setup day that you can go and meet with a delegation of foreign buyers there. Or sometimes if there is, let's say, an area where there are a lot of sawmills or distilleries or seafood processing plants, those are just kind of typically the industries where there might be a lot in one place, we can bring them to your facility. So these images kind of show that, where we have foreign buyers at a distillery, a sawmill, and on a dock by a seafood company. So, it's always great to be able to showcase, where the products are made, and really build those relationships by, showcasing the whole process. So when we can do that, we will definitely do that, but it's not always possible. And then we have outbound trade missions. So this is the reverse, where you would travel to the foreign country. Again, the one-on-one meetings that are prearranged. And the benefit, though, of the outbound mission is you're in that country, and there's so much more that you can see and learn and do. So we will always take our companies on a retail tour. You'll see this photo here from a trade mission we just did to Jamaica. So we have companies walking around the aisle, seeing, the aisle where their products could be, and seeing who's already there in the market, what's the price point, flavor profile, really can give you a lot of ideas. And we will also have either USDA, the office in that country, and or our consultants do some really in-depth presentations. This is one that was, we did a trade mission to Taiwan, and we had, I don't know, it was probably almost a half a day of really good presentations that are giving you the, up to the date, up to the minute information on products going into that country. These are really experts who are working to get US products into the market, and they can let you know about the current state of affairs and anything that they see coming down the pike. Our outbound trade missions are a great, great value. They are $600, and if you register early enough, they're only $400. And included in that fee is going to be your hotel room, or a hotel room for one person in your company, which is great, as well as the meetings, the tours, presentations, all of that, an interpreter if you need it. If you're shipping samples, we'll pay for up to 100 pounds of shipping. And if it's one of the trade missions where we go from one city to another, and you either have to take a train or a flight, SUSTA typically will pay for that transportation. So all you're really on the hook for is the fee, as well as your international flight to the trade mission and back, and then your meals and things. But you can also use cost share for these events as well, which we can talk about later. Okay. So before we move on, does anybody on the events team want to jump in, or anything else we need to cover about event types? All right, then we'll start talking about our 2027 events. So what we've done is broken them out by industry. Um, so here we have some events that are specific to produce and some that are specific to pecans. So for our produce companies, we are going to do a Canada inbound trade mission to the Global Produce and Floral Show next October 2027. We'll be bringing Canadian buyers there. And then for the European market, we will be back at Fruit Logistica. And this is a new one. We are going to be having a SUSTA pavilion at Fruit Attraction, which is in Madrid. So, we can do the Northern Europe as well as Southern Europe, which, as we know, have varied tastes and appetites for things. So, we think that the Fruit Attraction in Southern Europe will offer, really different customers and yeah, a different time of year as well. So that's a new one for us. So keep your eye out for that. And then pecans. We are going to be bringing buyers from Europe, India, and Japan to Georgia and Texas next May. So if you're a pecan company on the call, great. We welcome you. And then seafood and alcohol. We are going to be bringing Canadian buyers to Seafood Expo North America. In Europe, we will do Seafood Expo Global like usual, Hong Kong. So it's actually 3 markets that we're bringing to Seafood Expo North America. It's Canada, Hong Kong, and Singapore. So if you are going to be at SENA next March, really make sure to keep an eye on that. It's going to be on the trade show setup day, March 6th, and you can meet with buyers from either 1, 2, or all 3 markets on that day. And we will also have the SUSTA Pavilion at SENA if you would like to exhibit with us there. And then also, as always, Seafood Expo Asia in Singapore. So lots of options in different markets for our seafood companies. And then for alcohol, we are going to do a distilled spirits outbound trade mission to Nairobi. That will be in March. Wine Paris in Europe. This is new. This is going to take the place of the Pro Wine trade show in Dusseldorf that we have done recently. So trying something new out, Wine Paris in February. And then we are also doing a Europe distilled spirits trade mission to North Carolina and Texas. In Japan, we'll do the Pro Wine show again. That's in April. And then we're doing a Mexico outbound trade mission for alcohol. So that is something new. That's a new market that we really haven't done a lot of targeted alcohol events in Mexico before. So something interesting to keep an eye on. And then we have nursery and horticulture. We will be bringing Canadian buyers to the Manse trade show again this year. That is January 12th. So if you're interested, I think that registration deadline is going to be kind of soon this fall because January 12th is not that far away. So please keep an eye on that. We are also doing an inbound trade show from Canada, or inbound mission from Canada to the Global Produce and Floral Show, as I mentioned earlier with the produce. So that is a produce and horticulture show in Atlanta. And then in Europe, as we do most years, we are going to have the SUSTA Pavilion at IPM Essen in January. So a couple of really early in the year events. So if you're a nursery or horticulture company, keep an eye on those. All right. And then wood species. We have quite a lot going on in 2027 for our lumber companies. In China, we're going to do an outbound and an inbound mission September and October. So you could either in September or you could do both. You can go to Beijing and Shanghai. And then in October, we are bringing buyers from China to North Carolina and West Virginia. For Europe, we are bringing buyers to Kentucky and West Virginia. And then India and Southeast Asia, we're bringing buyers in April for forestry to Jackson, Mississippi and Charleston, South Carolina. And then we are also doing a trade show in Mexico called, well, I won't try to say that, but it's in Guadalajara and it's going to be in August. I don't think we have the dates yet, but that is a new event for us as well. So anyway, you can see we have a lot going on for wood and forestry companies. All right. And then, of course, we have all of these value added events. This is general food and beverage. I'd like to point out if you're a produce, pecan, alcohol, seafood company, you can probably do any of these events too. I just wanted to call out those ones that were specific to your industry. But these are, yeah, the ones that are more general food and beverage. Um, let's see if there is anything. I think most of these you're familiar with if you've done our events in the past. But we have, as you can see, lots here. And most of these will be opening on August 15th. So keep an eye on that. We will also, I should mention, be adding more events throughout the year. As you know, we're constantly adding events, but we just wanted to give you the information on the ones that we know about so far. All right, surveys. This is such an important topic, and I'm going to bring in Macy and Megan to talk about surveys. We all at our office work really hard to make sure that we get surveys in. And yes, it's just, it can be, hard. We're working with so many companies and so many events. So if you ladies want to talk about surveys, that would be great.
Yes, good morning, everyone. My name is Macy Duplessis. I am the Marketing and Communications Coordinator here at SUSTA. And some of you have probably heard from me. I am the one who's emailing you guys throughout the year, just reminding you guys to go ahead and get those surveys done. So just a reminder, so every SUSTA event you participate in has two surveys. So you have the initial survey, which is issued immediately following the event. So it's going to be on the last day of the event. That's when it's going to open. And it's going to close 1 week after. And then you also have the concluding survey, which is going to come along 6 months after the event has concluded. So it's going to be on the same start day, just 6 months later. And it's going to be open for a week and close that following week. So where to find the surveys, you can log into your SUSTA account and go to surveys. If you have anything overdue or anything that is due, you'll usually see an orange dot at the top of the survey box. So once you go to that, that lets you know that, hey, you have something due or you have something that is overdue. And so inbound mission initial surveys are handed out and collected at the trade mission. So these are really, really important. We really count on these surveys. The data is how we continue to go ahead and help you guys and give the funding that we need. So we just definitely really depend on those surveys because that is how our funding is dependent on. So
Yes, we can't emphasize that enough.
yes, that is the reason why I might email you guys or we may call you guys. It is literally because if we want this program to continue going, we have to get those surveys in.
Yeah.
So,
yep. So please, 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 if you have overdue surveys, and they're short, they really shouldn't take very long, but it's just so important that we get them in. And so why are they important and what do we use the data for? We do a number of things with it, but this kind of demonstrates that we'll aggregate it for the whole year and be able to provide that kind of information. But we also do that per event, and it helps us figure out, what events we should fund in the future, or maybe what markets are changing or doing well, or it's for any number of things. But mostly, it's also just required by the entity that funds us, the USDA's Foreign Agricultural Service. So
yes. And it also helps us let us know if you guys aren't enjoying an event or something happened or something that you guys really liked about it or something that you didn't like or something that we could possibly change for next year. Yep. That's another way for you guys to go ahead and give your input into how you felt the event affected you and your company.
For sure. Yep. Which brings us to success stories.
So
Yeah.
yes, success stories are another thing that either Danielle or I will be reaching out to you guys about. So the success stories are a narrative about a specific company making sales internationally, or even those first steps of export education. So usually I will go ahead and we'll pull those survey results, and we will go ahead and reach out to you guys and kind of draft up a success story that we feel maybe may fit your company and what accomplishments you guys made during those trade shows or events. And we'll kind of do a draft, and you guys are welcome to change or add anything. And we love to receive quotes from you guys. But these success stories are another way that we continue receiving funding because it's showing the USDA we're actually making an impact. This is what happened to this company. This is the success that they made. So those success stories are really great. They're great to be featured in. You guys are welcome to go ahead or if there's any success that you made at an event or big sale or big connections that you made, you guys are welcome to email us and kind of give us a summary of that so we can feature you guys because we want to highlight the success that you guys have made. That is the most important thing. That's what we're working for. We're working for you guys. So we want to showcase your success.
Yeah. And when we, as Macy said, when we draft the success story and send it to you, you can also let us know like, hey, I don't want this on your website, but it's fine to send it to USDA, or, we can, do it however you want.
Yes.
But, sometimes we would love to post these on our website or in social media or a newsletter or something, but we certainly don't have to if you don't want to. But
Yes.
yeah, nothing is more impactful than the narrative of an actual company having success or learning something new based on these programs.
And this is an example of a success story that I drafted up. But this is an example of it's short, kind of sweet, simple, straight to the point, but definitely highlighting the success that was made at their event.
Yes. And we found out about this because this company reached out to us and let us know, hey, I just finished this event in June and I've already, I'm shipping product already. So feel free to do that and proactively reach out to us. That's a great way for us to have really up-to-date success stories. All right. And now moving on to cost share. This is the program where we can reimburse companies up to 50% of some international marketing expenses. So it is a 50% reimbursement. And we aren't really going to get into too much about cost share. It's just this will be a kind of a brief review. As I mentioned earlier, we are enhancing our cost share application for 2027. So if you still have things in 2026 that you want to apply for cost share for in 26, that's fine. You can still complete your 2026 cost share application as long as whatever it is happening in the future. You can't apply for something that's already happened. But I just wanted to kind of touch on this and reiterate that the 2027 cost share application, the enhanced version, will be available October, November. So for those of you who aren't familiar, cost share is where we can reimburse half of these kinds of expenses, all targeting foreign countries. So if you see advertising, for instance, that's ads in a foreign market, whether it's digital or billboards, TV, print, radio, in-store demonstrations, so people handing out samples of your product in store in a foreign country. Same thing with in-store displays, packaging and labels, if you have to modify those for a foreign market. If you want to translate your website, that would also be eligible. And then, of course, international trade shows, whether you exhibit with SUSTA in our pavilion, or if you want to go and exhibit at a trade show in another country and we have no presence there, that's fine. Either way, you can request 50% reimbursement of the booth, travel for 2 people, employees or representatives of the company, and marketing materials, etc. Same thing for outbound trade missions, 50% of your international flight, and other expenses. So anyway, it's a long list. We're really not here today to go through this in its entirety, but if you do have questions about cost share, we are happy to schedule a phone call with you at any point and really walk you through what's eligible and maybe learn about what you're trying to do and see how you can best use this program. The cost share program does allow for some domestic trade show usage. So USDA has developed this list of approved US trade shows that they consider international because of the broad foreign audience that is attracted to these shows. So for these events in the US, you can request the 50% reimbursement of your booth fee, freight to ship things to the show, your marketing materials, everything, but not the travel. We can never reimburse travel within the US. All right, cost share, just something to keep in mind. The maximum is now $750,000 in reimbursement, which, we don't have a ton of companies hit that maximum, but just so you know that it has increased. But keep an eye on that minimum. The minimum request when you apply is $2,500 in reimbursement. So just if you're new to cost share, keep that in mind. And then the way it works is that you apply in advance. So we will open it this fall in case you're doing one of those January events or, something early in the year. And you will let us know by country what your plans are, how much you want to spend, a few details on what you're doing. And then you do that by country. And just kind of outlay it that way. There is an application fee, a flat fee when you submit your application, and you will send in the packaging and labels of the products that you want to promote using cost share, and you do that every 5 years. Then we review it. You've signed your certification statement saying everything's true. And then the cost share team reviews it, and they will send you a contract as well as an invoice for 6% of the 50% request. So if you're saying, SUSTA, I'm going to spend $20,000 next year on these things, I want to request $10,000 from SUSTA, we would send you an invoice for $600 for that allocation. So just kind of wanted to go through this briefly. Once you're contracted, then you go out and you do the promotion and you collect the required documents, which are always the invoices, the proof of payment for each invoice, and the proof of activity, which changes depending on what the activity is. And then after it's all over, you would send those documents into us within 60 days of the promotion ending. Please do not wait to the end of the year. It creates a real bottleneck for us. And you might lose documents and things. So the sooner you can get those claims into us, the better. And it's all done through your SUSTA account. And then the cost share program also has a survey, also very, very important. And it's issued the January after. So in 2028, January, you'll get your 2027 cost share application to fill out. And that is all we have, but I'm sure there are lots of questions. So we would like to open up the floor for questions. I see a couple of raised hands, so let's do that first. Laura, I'm going to unmute you. Laura Schinker. Okay. Hey, Laura, did you have a question? All right. Amrutha, here we go.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes. Hi.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So other than the May event for pecans, what else are you guys working on with regard to pecans?
So those 3 trade missions are the only ones specific to pecans, but you are welcome to. We have pecan companies do a lot of our other value-added events. So
Thank you.
like these, these that are just general kind of food and beverage, you are more than welcome to do any of these.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, sure thing. All right. Amrutha.
Hi. For girl food, actually, how can I
Mhm.
receive a booth? The application process, how it will go?
Oh, so Gulf Food will open on August 15th with all of the other events. So
Okay.
make sure that you recertify your account early in August as soon as you
Yeah.
can. And then once you're reviewed and approved on August 15th at 8 a.m., it will open with all the other events, and you would just log into your account, click on Gulf Food in the events tab, and register.
Okay. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, sure. Okay, Cynthia, I'm going to go to you next. Hi,
Hi.
Cynthia. Hi.
Hi. Um, we are a new client of SUSTA, and
Great.
so I apologize if this is basic information that I should already know.
No.
But how best should we prepare for an inbound mission?
Mm.
Because I do know that there's going to be buyers, importers there, probably, distributors, and those are very distinct groups. So I was just wanting to know some tips on how that we can be best prepared for what information or questions that they may ask.
Sure. That's a great question. And I am going to, can you see my screen now that I pulled up the
Yes.
SUSTA website? Okay, great.
Yes.
So what I did was if you go from the homepage and you just click on the events here, first you'll see all of our upcoming events that you can register for, but these are the trade shows and trade missions. If you go here to export education, this tab, where you could register for webinars like this one. There are a few places I would recommend. We do have an export readiness training coming up in October. This is a 12-hour class that is taught by an expert who really goes through like the practical fundamentals of exporting, and she gives you a lot of great resources. It is 3 Thursdays in a row in October, and it's 4-hour chunks of time that you'd be on Zoom. So just know that it is a time commitment, but it's a great way to really learn, the basic fundamentals. Another thing I would recommend, so all of our consultants that are based around the world, you have access to them. You would just need to reach out and register via, this page. These are free. If you register to meet with, let's say, the Canadian consultants, you just register, and then they would reach out to you and schedule a Teams or a Zoom call.
Okay.
And you can talk with them specifically about your product. It's hard. There's not like a one size fits all because every
Sure.
company we work with has such varied products. But we try to offer as much of that kind of tailored assistance as we can.
Okay, and I do have a follow-up
Yeah.
question. So let's say you register for an inbound mission.
Mhm.
Would there potentially be a situation where there isn't a good match for you, and so you don't attend it?
Yes, we have had that
Okay.
before. Let's say, it's a general food trade mission, and we have a company who has something pretty specific, like, I don't know, seafood or alcohol. And when the consultants are reviewing all the companies that have registered, they might say, like, hey, we're not bringing buyers that are going to be interested in seafood or alcohol or whatever it is. So, yes, if it's like a pretty hard, there is
Okay.
nobody interested in that category that's coming, then they would let you know in advance, or we
Okay.
would let you know.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. I should also mention the expert readiness training. We also have kind of an abbreviated version in form of a webinar on September 2nd. And it's the same consultant who leads the full training, but she gives kind of a shorter version in this webinar, kind of touching on the topics that would be covered in the full training. So that could be something interesting. And let's say you do a trade mission and then all of a sudden you have a lot of questions or you have like a specific need. We have a helpline as well. So this is also something, it's free. It's not an AI bot that answers. We actually have a real human that will read your question that you send through the helpline, and within a couple of days, she will get back to you. She's really thorough. She'll probably want to call you and kind of ask follow-up questions and help you figure that out. So,
Okay. All right. Thank you very
that's
much.
another one. Yeah, sure thing. All right. Let's see. Will we get this presentation via email? Yes, and the recording. Domestic show, only one. Okay, so for the domestic shows that I mentioned, where was that? You can exhibit in all three if you wanted to, but so for instance, for Summer Fancy Food, if you've already exhibited in the SUSTA Pavilion at Summer Fancy Food in the past, you can't do it again. So for our US shows, these are any other trade show, like if you do Food X Japan year after year, that's fine. But for these domestic shows, it's just a one-time thing. But you can do Summer Fancy and America's Food and Beverage if you would like to, that's fine. Domestic shows, you can do each of those that are appropriate, but you can, yes. Yes, so I think I just answered. Sorry if that was confusing. Two people had a similar question. How big was the trade event in Jamaica and how many brands went? Great question. I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know if Sandra or Megan would know, but usually we cap the outbound trade missions at 10 companies. So it's usually somewhere between 5 and 10 US companies that would travel and do one of the outbound trade missions. We keep it fairly small so that we can really tailor it.
It was 6 companies.
Oh, 6, great. Oh, yes, there I see. For Gulf Food, when will booth registration open? Okay, we went through that. Will companies receive a confirmation email once the recertification has been successfully completed? Yes. For the domestic shows, can we apply for the 50% reimbursement? Yes. So for these 3, you can get the 50% reimbursement through cost share because they're all on, sorry. They're all on this list, but this list is a lot more. So if you want to do Natural Products West, for instance, in California, which is an expensive show to do, you can apply through cost share to get 50% of your booth fee. Yes, yes, yes. And then, you know, I feel like, is there a fee chart available to help us plan? So not really. So our global events, the fees vary, but what will help you plan is, I'm going to pull up the website again. If you go to the events page, and I know Gulf Food always has a lot of questions, so I'm still in export education. I'm going to go over here. So as I mentioned, a lot of our 2027 events are up on this page. They are not open for registration yet. They'll open August 15th, but you can go in now and see what it's going to cost. So for instance, Gulf Food 2027, you can see, you know, what the inline booth will cost, a corner booth, and then the pulses and grains folks have to be in a separate pavilion. As with all of our trade shows, there is an early bird special if you apply early. For Gulf Food, because the show is early in the year, the deadline is October 15th. So just keep in mind that. So really for any of our events, you can start planning, you know, Food X Japan also in March. You can see what the prices are and, you know, the dates and the timelines and things like that. So this will hopefully help you, you know, help guide you as you're making your plans for 2027. That's why we open them up so early in the year, because we know it's a lot to plan for. Anything else? Oh, Cynthia, I don't know if you have a new question, and same with Laura, but if you
No,
do,
I don't have a new question.
yeah,
Sorry.
okay, great. Yeah, no worries. Now, anybody else? Anybody from SUSTA that wants to chime in? Um, this is,
No,
yeah,
just wanted to remind you guys, definitely check your My Sister account, make sure everything is up to date, make sure that the surveys, there's no orange dot in the corner, so any overdue surveys. And again, if you guys would like to do a success story, I'll be reaching out to people soon, or if you guys have anything that you want to go ahead and have featured, you're welcome to email Danielle or I.
yeah,
That's it.
great. One thing that we didn't specifically mention is Summer Fancy Food moved, not moved locations, but they moved back a month. So it's usually at the end of June. Now it's going to be the end of July in 2027. And Gulf Food also jumped to March. So it's kind of been January, February usually, and now it will be March 15th to 19th in 2027. So just for planning purposes, those are some things to keep in mind. We will be posting a calendar that will go through all of the events by country, and we'll keep adding to this list online as well. So, and then if you have questions, of course, please reach out to us. Yeah, we're happy to get you all the information so you can plan early. And
Danielle, there's 2 more
oh,
questions
great.
in the chat.
Okay. Yes. Okay, Cynthia.
The slide that you put up of the
Yes.
approved cost share trade
The
shows,
domestic shows.
yes, is that online or is that
Yes.
okay? It is. All
It
right.
is.
Okay.
So I love showing people where you can find things on the website. So if you go to what we do, 50% cost share benefits of participation.
Hmm.
This is the list of everything that's eligible for cost share and the domestic shows. If you click here, this will download a PDF
Okay.
of this list.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Sure. All right, Randy, you can unmute.
Thank you very much. Randy Palaya, the founder of West Indies Pepper Sauce Whips. We are newer SUSTA members, so
Yes,
we actually just came back from the Summer Fancy Food Show in New York, and we had about
awesome.
6 hours of meetings with international buyers. So
Nice.
shout out to the whole team.
Yeah.
And my question would be, you had mentioned there's an event in Boston, and I'm not sure the name of the event. It was going to be like a seafood
Mhm.
event. But we're a hot sauce brand. Do you typically see brands like us go to those particular events as well? Because I know it's certainly a focus for seafood, but we do pair well with all types of seafood. So kind of curious to hear a little bit about
Yeah.
that. What other
Yep.
brands that are not in, the seafood industry, they might be complementary to the market?
Yes. I think the answer is yes, but I don't know. So I'm gonna say, does anybody know? Um, I have not been to that show in a long time, but I kind of remember crab boil and seasoning and things like that being there.
For what
Can
show
you hear
again?
me?
This is Seafood Expo North America.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, this is Sandra. I'm the Global Events Director. You are more than welcome to register. And then as our activity managers and then the people that are helping us put the show together, if they see that maybe it wouldn't be a fit, they'll let you know. And of course, we'll cancel your registration and refund your registration fee. But it's not exclusively for just fish and seafood. So you're more than welcome to register, and we will try to accommodate meetings with the people that would be a good fit for you, or people that are looking for seasonings or sauces for their seafood. And then you can make the decision yourself.
Yeah, and we can reach out to Diversified, the group that puts on the Seafood Expo North America show, and ask them just to get a confirmation on that for you.
And then one other thing, sorry, I couldn't figure out how to unmute myself throughout the call. So if anyone has any questions, please let me know. when you are recertifying your account, you will receive an email from me letting you know that everything looks okay, and that you're able to register. If for some reason you recertified your account and you don't receive an email from me within the first 48 hours of you recertifying, please reach out and let me know that, hey, you recertified your account and you're eager to get events registered and you haven't received anything, so that we can let you know if for some reason there's a hold or something. Even is something outstanding with your account, you will receive an email from me letting you know that we're missing some information. So please let me know within 48 hours that you don't hear within 48 hours to be recertified.
Okay. So yes, if you don't hear from Sandra, definitely let her know. Cynthia had another question, but I don't see her in the list. Cynthia, raise your hand and then I'll be able to let you talk. The dates for America Food and Beverage in Miami, are those published yet? Not for 2027. Usually they let us know after the 2026 event. Anybody else? Oh, Carly. Carly was at the seafood show this year, so maybe she's chiming in on that.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I saw some like cocktail sauce and like tartar sauce companies there in terms of like sauces. So like there's a possibility that maybe like hot sauces would work for Cena. I also saw a number of like seasoning companies there as well. So if any like seasoning companies are also like, maybe we'll be interested in that. That would also might be something for y'all to look at. But yeah, I don't recall seeing any like distinctly like hot sauce companies, but I do recall seeing um like cocktail sauce, tartar sauce, other kind of like remoulade sauce, other kind of variety of sauces. So I think there might be um, a possibility that
Okay.
hot sauce can find a fit in there,
Yeah.
considering the fact that other broadly seafood-esque sauces or sauces you could dip seafood in or put on seafood were there.
Yeah. Great. Um, let's see. August 1st and 15th are both Saturdays, just to confirm recertification and show registrations are done on those Saturday dates. Yes. Those August 1st is always the day for recertification. And I mean, if you recertify on August 3rd on Monday, that's fine. You will be reviewed before August 15th, but just it's going to open on the 1st. And then our events always open on the 15th, and that'll be at 8 a.m. And yeah, that.
And we currently have 35 events up on the events page, so you guys can like look through them. Registration is not open, of course, but you guys can kind of preview and see what it is and try to scope out what it is you want to do possibly for next year. So that might be something good because some do have early deadlines, like 2026, the end of this year. So that's just something to be mindful of.
Okay, there's a question. Are there plans of adding any more domestic events? Probably not for 2027. We added 2 already, and that's unusual for us to have three SUSTA pavilions at 3 domestic shows. But I'll let Sandra, I don't know if you have anything to add on that. So yeah, I'm going to say probably not, but you can use cost share if there, is a domestic show you're interested in. Check and see if it's on that cost share list, and you can get 50% reimbursed for those shows. Okay. All right. Oh, Sandra said I can't unmute. No other domestics for the foreseeable future. Okay. Great. All right. Well, if nothing else, then here's Sandra. I don't know why you can't unmute. That's weird.
Just another reminder, we will be posting this to the back office, so you guys will be able to watch this recording again as well as the presentation. And I will email you guys later on this afternoon when everything is uploaded with direct links to everything. So you guys will have access to the presentation as well as the recording of the webinar.
All right. Yeah, and if anybody wants to chat about any of this, you know where to find us. And thank you. We're looking forward to working with you in 2027 and seeing all of you grow next year, explore new markets, and we can't wait to help you do that. All right. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.